Have you ever noticed that when you think your kid can't remember who you are, you start pulling out all the stops to prove you're still the parent? Well, that's what Lynn Sr. found out in the episode I'm going to talk about today. So join me as I, SteamTeamRedubUK, CC Trainor-Ling, bring you another retro review from past seasons of The Loud House. Cue the intro! Today's episode is Breaking Dad. In this episode, Lynn Sr. leaves Mr. Grouse in charge of Lily while he attends a concert, but starts regretting his decision when he sees his daughter refer to his neighbor as her father. The only negative I have about this episode is the inconsistency regarding Lily and how she's able to recognize her parents, although I also see it as a positive. It's revealed that the only reason why she kept referring to Mr. Grouse as her dad was because he was wearing Lynn Sr.'s usual green sweater. Why Mr. Grouse would continue to keep wearing it instead of changing into something else he owns, I'll never quite understand. But either way, this explanation makes sense because Lily was doing the usual object association babies do when they're starting to observe the world around them. In her case, she associates the green sweater with the word daddy because Lynn Sr. almost always wears that sweater, and that object makes Lily think of her father. I liked how this concept was built into the story. It was played out in a very subtle way. They didn't make it so abundantly obvious why Lily kept referring to Mr. Grouse as her dad. As in, they didn't do something straightforward like having her point directly to the sweater that her dad usually wears. That would have made the story far too predictable, so I can appreciate how the writers were able to build towards the ending without inadvertently giving it away. However, this name clothing concept isn't consistent when Lily can recognize her mom while wearing her dental scrubs instead of her usual clothes. Although that type of recognition might have more to do with the fact Rita was once pregnant with Lily and babies can recognize their mothers the second they're born. Plus, Lily didn't seem too detached from her father when he was wearing the clothes he wore to the concert, not to mention the clothes he was wearing when he was trying to get his daughter to remember who he was. But besides that, the rest of the episode was fantastic. The scenes with Mr. Grouse trying to look after Lily were pretty amusing. It was basically a different and objectively better version of Two Boys and a Baby. Unlike that episode, this one felt more genuine because Mr. Grouse doesn't have kids, hence why he kept calling Lynn Sr. for help when things were going wrong. We also had a few scenes with Lily and Lynn Sr. interacting, and they were some of the most adorable and hilarious moments of season 3. While Lily was being her cute and adorable self, Lynn Sr. was the one who really stood out the most. Even though the problem he thought he had created was a complete misunderstanding, he really felt like he screwed up big time and he was going to do whatever he could to get his daughter to acknowledge him as her father, not some old man with an addiction to lasagna. Lynn Sr.'s conflict is very similar to that one episode of Full House where Michelle started referring to Jesse and Joey as her dad because her real father, Danny, was always busy. Lynn's problem isn't exactly the same as Danny Tanner's, but like I said, it's very similar because both dads were going to try to put things right with their daughters. Before Home of the Fave came along later in the same season, I once considered this episode to be the best at demonstrating how great of a father Mr. Loud can be. With him going the extra mile to make sure his kids are happy, even skipping the second day of a concert he wanted to attend, it's impossible to find anything wrong with his performance in this episode. He was basically everything you can appreciate about a typical animated TV dad on children's programming. He was wacky, melodramatic, and you can't help but enjoy watching him be a good dad to Lily despite a few unintended mishaps. You could tell Brian Stepanek was having a blast recording his lines for this episode, and that's greatly reflected in his delivery. Overall, despite my personal hang-up about the inconsistency with Lily and how she's able to recognize her parents or Mr. Grouse based on the clothes they wear, this was still a really entertaining episode. Lynn Sr. showed what it meant to be a good father who will do anything to fix any sort of problem he may have caused for one of his kids, even if it means acting a little crazy in order to do it. Mr. Grouse also had some hilarious moments when trying to take care of Lily, and those two really got along by the end of the first half of the story. He was sort of like a grandfather to Lily, or at least that's the impression I got. What's also noteworthy is how none of the other Loud kids play a role at any point in the episode. All they do is appear in the form of a fight cloud on 2 separate occasions, and that's it. I like that because having the story focus strictly on the dynamic between Lynn Sr. and Lily was good for the individual development of both of them. While this may not be my pick for Lynn Sr.'s best episode, it's pretty close to it. With that said, I give Breaking Dad a 9.2 out of 10. Well folks, that concludes my review of Breaking Dad. So I gotta ask, what did you guys think of this episode? Sound off in the comments below, and be sure to click that subscribe button for more Loud House related content. That's going to do it for me. I'll catch you guys for the next video, but until then, this is SteamTeamRedubUK, CC Trainor-Ling, signing off. Peace out, home slices.